homeschooling mom who believes you can never have too many books for your kids. So here are the books that I pull out every spring, and I feel like you should definitely add to your shelf if you're a homeschooling parent, or if you're just trying to incorporate like unit studies for your kids. These are the books that will make it possible for you. First up, I'm gonna have to go with some of my tried and true. Some of my absolute favorites are all of the Nat Geo kids. There's something about all the Nat Geo books that are just pure magic for my kids. My kids are always turning to them. They always love them. Every time I pull them out, I feel like they are just so well done. Some that I like to pull out, these are great for like the level 1 readers. I love to pull out for like kindergarten and preschool. It's really easy. The words are super friendly, and the concepts are not too much. Another that I like to really pull out are the little kids' first big book. These are great. This is what I use in kindergarten for science. I just picked a topic every month. So around spring, I always do a weather unit, insect unit. And this is just a really great way to take topics and really just make them manageable. We will read them together, and then so if we're doing about like a unit on clouds, we will usually read about clouds. We will go on a cloud hunt together. We will draw clouds. We will do like the little cloud experiment where you do water and then you have shaving cream on top and the food coloring, and it rains. There are so many ways to use books to make really easy unit studies so you do not have to feel overwhelmed. And books like this will definitely make that possible and super easy for you. And if you want me to talk more on just like how to make unit studies, I'm more than happy to do that. I really love to make unit studies. And then when they're a little bit older, I love like the everything weather. And this is just taking something like my first big book of weather and just adding more complex topics. As you can see, the text is a little bit smaller, and now we're going to go into more details about everything. But again, it is still super kid friendly, and it is just really fun. And I just find that out of all the books that I am using, I am always turning to Nat Geo books. My kids are always reading a Nat Geo book, and I'm pretty sure that my kids have known so many random facts from Nat Geo books that these are probably one of the best homeschooling resources that I could ever just like recommend. Another resource that I think you should always have on your reading shelves are encyclopedias, but not just encyclopedias, but the DK ones. These are just workhorses, and they are just so good. And honestly, like sometimes I will find these at Goodwill. I found this at Goodwill for $5. eBay will have them. Thrift books, always check there first. And so I just really love these. I think that the pictures are really great. And you can always just kind of, what I really like to do in preschool, kindergarten, even first grade, is grab the book, open it up, and pick a topic, right? Okay, so we're gonna learn all about crocodiles today or this week. And then you can just do so many activities. You can go to the zoo, you can draw crocodiles, you can watch crocodiles. There's just so many really little things that you can do to kind of incorporate these books into your units. And then for spring, another one that I really always pull out are the trees, leaves, flowers, and seeds. This pairs perfectly well with like a garden unit. When you're walking around, seeing if you can identify plants, seeing like what seeds are doing, how do roots work, right? So you can always plant things and then talk about roots, watching them. There are just so many great resources for these books, and they are definitely something that I am always pulling out. In that same world of DK, they also have the anthology series. There are so many. I love the anthology of Bugs one. That is the one that we are currently looking at. And again, favorite thing to do, open it up. This is what we're learning about today, right? Especially with kindergarten and preschool. This is how easy like school should be. You're opening it up, you're learning about it, you're sparking an interest. You're trying to see, oh, okay, what is an orchid mantis? What colors do we see? What can they do? Can we draw one together? Can we go find like a praying mantis outside? There are just so many ways, and I really love these. I really love all the pictures. I think the pictures are really fun. Just picking a page a day to read and just explore together. These are also really fun to just like have on the bookshelves and give kids access to. They will always end up just like sitting and flipping through these and reading them, or just like looking at all the pictures. But this is how you kind of spark a love for learning, is always having materials around and letting kids go to them and kind of just see like what they might be interested in. Another series that I see recommended a lot are the big books. These are honestly really fun. Now I like these because I feel like the illustrations are very fun. They're very whimsical. They're really fun to look through. I definitely prefer, of course, more of like a Montessori approach where we're using like actual pictures. But every once in a while, I do think that kids are also really called to books like this with really fun illustrations. And so these are really great, like, oh, how did a bird of paradise get its name? It tells you like less like just facts and more fun little things about plants or birds. Again, so these are two that I kind of really turn to a lot in the spring, is the Big Book of Blooms and the Big Book of Birds. And again, this is just really fun to pair with a whole bird unit, right? We learn about birds, we build bird houses, we make like little bird feeders, we learn about eggs, the different migration patterns of birds. You can turn anything, any book. Owls, can we like go out at night and hear owls? You can kind of dissect owl pellets. They honestly have kits for everything on Amazon at this point. So I really love these. I really think that these books are really fun and definitely ones to add to your homeschool shelf. Either you can get them at the library, rent them out for a couple of weeks, or buy them if you want. I always feel like books like these are always something that are good to have and you will never get tired of them. These books have lasted us years and I just think that they are a really great resource. While I do have an art curriculum, every once in a while I kind of like to go rogue, and so these are some of the books that I love to turn to. I feel like a lot of the times people get really stressed out about not having curriculums, and while I love a good curriculum, I am team curriculum. I do think that in like kindergarten, that's just too overwhelming. You do not need a curriculum for everything besides like reading, writing, and math. Focus on those and then grab a bunch of books and learn through books. And so in the spring, I think that there's nothing better than like fantasy crafts. So having like little unicorn crafts, gnomes, fairies. There are so many fun ones that you can do for kids of all ages. So this is a book I turn to so much in the spring. Every once in a while, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do the curriculum for a little bit. Let's just like deep dive into fairy tales. Or another one that I absolutely love is this Recycle and Remake book. Again, this is perfect for all of the month of April. I will usually just do crafts like these where we take all of our recyclables and see what we can create from them, which is perfect to also pair with Earth Day, a whole unit on conservation. Some things that you can do is like taking paper, making recycled bookmarks. That's something that we're going to be doing, and it's pretty simple, super easy. Taking cardboard boxes, right? We're always getting cardboard boxes. Here's some things and ideas that you can make. So if you're ever like, oh, I just don't know what to do for art, grab one of these books. Honestly, grab one of these books and create something together. That is art. Another book that I really love to have is the Backpack Explorer. I think that these are great, especially if you're doing like Charlotte Mason or you were kind of just doing more like forest schooling. These are great to kind of take. It comes with a little magnifying glass and you are going outside. You are a backpack explorer. And so within these books, you get to see, okay, here are some of the trees you may see on your trail. Here are some of the birds. Can you look and find any of these birds? And so this just makes like a walk, just something really fun, like a hike. Here are some things. They also include like crafts. So if you find like all these different like nature themed items, here's some craft ideas that you can do with them. What are like animals that are prey animals. You can go on a nature scavenger hunt. So this is just a really fun book to just bring with you outside, get lost in nature and kind of just explore. I always think that books like these are fantastic. I think they make a couple versions of these, but the Nature Trail is like one of my favorites, hands down. Other books that I really love to have, especially for lower elementary, I love the Let's Read and Find Out Science. I find that this takes complex science topics and really breaks them down. I feel like these are pretty cheap if you get them on like off of thrift books or eBay. And so this one is all about rain. And so it's just really, really easy picture book explaining kind of a topic. I kind of just love to have these on the table, or if we are learning about weather that week, this is like one of the books that I will put in our book basket that we will read together, or I will do read alouds for. This is a really fun one. I am a 90s baby, so of course we learned through the Magic School Bus. So Magic School Bus books for like every topic are always in our book basket. And I also really love to pair like a 90s classic Magic School Bus episode to go with whatever topic we're learning about. Another little reader that I love is this collection. I think there's A Butterfly is Patient and then A Seed is Silent. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the other one. And so this takes you all through like a caterpillar to a butterfly, and I just really think that the illustrations are beautiful. It kind of uses more like lyrical language versus it reading like a textbook, and I just think that pairing this with a butterfly unit how to make a really easy butterfly unit is you can raise caterpillars into butterflies. You can do so many butterfly art projects where you paint on like half of a side of a butterfly, learn about symmetry, right? You fold over the other butterfly. You can grab this book and watercolor right alongside of it. There's some butterfly classical music that you can listen to, and then you can learn about composers. So again, a book can spark a whole unit study, and it doesn't have to be this really overwhelming thing. I know a lot of the times on social media, we tend to see these really beautiful unit studies and feel like, oh, I can't do that. I don't have the time for that. But a book and Pinterest and maybe 20 minutes, you can have an entire unit study done, and it doesn't have to be super overwhelming, okay? You can just do so much. You can do so many things with a butterfly. And so again, I would love to talk more about unit studies. If you ever want to like have a topic and have me like give you suggestions for unit studies, like activity ideas you can do or books to pair with it, then I'm super happy to do that. And also, again, butterfly, grab these 2 books. And you are all set. I love Gail Gibbons. I think that all of her books are just really easy to understand, really easy to digest, and really just gets the point across, especially for my lower elementary students, especially for like, I usually use this for like under 1st grade. I feel like Gail Gibbons is perfect for that. And she apparently also has little workbooks, but I honestly just use her picture books and pair it with whatever our study is. So usually what I will do is I will have a book basket, and then whatever the theme is for that week or month, however you want to do it, these will all be in there as well. Sometimes I will have like little figurines. I will have our art supplies, any worksheets that we may need. Another fun thing for butterflies is studying migration patterns, right? And a lot of the times butterflies are migrating down to Mexico. So you can map out the migration patterns of a butterfly. That's social studies, right? And then when they land in Mexico, then you can use that entire time to learn about Mexico, Mexican culture. It's a really great segue, and it's how you can turn a topic like butterflies, you can turn it into science, reading, math, social studies, in just like a few activities. And that's honestly how you create unit studies and how simple that they can be. For my older kids, I love History Smashers. I found this series last year, and I feel like starting it around 2nd and 3rd grade is the perfect timing. I honestly would not start this younger than 2nd grade because some of the words are just a little challenging. And what I have my 2nd grader do is, as we are reading them, if he doesn't know a word, we will underline it, and then we will go look through a dictionary together and define it together. But History Smashers is such a good series, and this is the one that I have for us to read all of April. We're learning all about Earth Day, the environment. We're learning about water pollution, the water cycle, things like that. And it all stems from this book. And so what I have us do is we just like read a little bit about it. Every day I have us read like 15 pages, no more than that a day. And then we will talk about it. And so if they are talking about water pollution, then we will do a fun hands-on activity where we make our water polluted. We try to filter it out. We see that we can't. We learn about the water cycle and how polluted water can impact our water cycle. And that's like a whole lesson right there. And because it's so hands-on, it really sticks with their brain, and it makes science and social studies topics that they actually really enjoy. And what I really love about History Smashers is I feel like it tells history without sugarcoating anything. Like, it's like, yeah, these people were not great. They did not make good choices. When the colonists came, you know, they really messed up the environment. And I feel like that's really important for me as a secular mom, is making sure that our history is honest. It's not like sugar-coated where, you know, the 90s history sometimes was. And finally, a book that I feel like every homeschooling parent should have, especially if you are Charlotte Mason style, if you are more nature study style. I just feel like this is great for a poetry unit, and it's not necessarily spring, but you'll see why I included it. A, nature, and B, it's actually like a beautifully illustrated book, and every single day you have a new poem. And sometimes we just like will watercolor while I will read a poem, and other times we will talk about the poem. Sometimes the poems are just a little wacky, or they don't really make a lot of sense to us, but I kind of just love opening it to the day and starting our morning kind of like that, reading the poem, talking about what we think, and it is a really great segue into a poetry lesson. We started this in 2nd grade. I think I'm going to deep dive further into it in 3rd grade, but I just think that this is such a lovely book. I love the poems, I love the watercolor illustrations, and it is just another book that I think is a really great resource to add on your homeschooling shelf. Anyway, those are some of the books that I always pull out every spring and that I feel like I use to either use for educational purposes, to have unit studies, or just to kind of have out and to spark questions in my kids, to kind of let them lead and see like where should we go. I always find like in the spring we're kind of finishing up a lot of our curriculums, and before starting our next curriculums, I like to just like take it slow. We like to go outside more, we like to be in nature, and I feel like all of these books just like really pair with that environment and that lifestyle. So let me know if you like this video, if these like book recommendations are helpful, and any kind of like advice that you need from me. I am super happy to help with anything, and I will see you in the next video.